Hello everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. I am thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Pak Rohit. And also, I was asked to give you something that hopefully is of value to you in 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not sure how I should do this, but I will try my best. Yeah. But anyway, let me just reintroduce myself. My name is Ilham Habibie. I was also asked to do either bahasa Indonesia or English, but I think I keep it in English. Mestinya juga bisa dilakukan dalam bahasa Indonesia, tapi saya dengar ada banyak juga yang tidak mengerti bahasa Indonesia di sini. Oleh karena itu, perkenankanlah saya untuk menyampaikan pidato saya dalam bahasa Inggris saja. Ya, jadi tidak mix, karena mix itu membuat saya bingung. Okay, so I'm not going to talk Indonesian at all. It's just going to be English because this mixed kind of mode makes me confused. Anyway, I was already introduced by this lady. I'm an engineer, yes. I'm a techie, yes. But many people don't know that in my previous career, when I was still working as an executive, some many years ago, there was a time when I had a position of a director of marketing. Yeah, so I was indeed a director of marketing sales at a state-owned company that everybody knows or has heard of, which is now PT Dirgantara Indonesia. That was in the 90s, early 2000s. So that old I am, right? So basically, I used to be a director of marketing those days, but it's a B2B marketing. So it's very tech-oriented marketing, trying to sell a tech product with tech services. So it's maybe similar to some of you, but maybe not similar to many of you. So I like to, before I start my speech, also greet the important people in the room. This is probably all of you, but particularly Pak Rohit, of course. Then Pak Riki, Ibu or Bapak Huria, Raselma, and then Pak Sony, Pak Alvin Leong, Pak Mairik, and everybody else here in the room. My dear friend and partner, Pak Avijit, is here too with his team from View. And I'm happy to give you some input. Well, the topic is indeed very relevant. It hasn't always been relevant, but I think lead with innovation, grow for impact, yeah, or with impact. There's actually 4 key words here, right? It's leading itself. What about leading these days? And it's about something that all of us, not only the leaders, but all of us, as already explained by Pak Rohit, need to look at as innovation. It has always been important, but I think because of the speed of innovation, the speed of technological disruption and dissemination, innovation has become more and more crucial in order to be successful in what we want to do. Then the target. It is growing. It always has been growing, although there are countries and parts of the world which have become skeptical about growing. I mean, if you follow the conversation worldwide, there's even businesses or whole societies that think negative about growth. Business maybe not so much, because we have to grow as a business. But some societies are a little bit anti-growth. But it is probably what growth does sometimes to all of us in this world. But growth comes with a certain cost. And the cost sometimes is so large that many people don't want to pay it. It's basically the impact of growth, right? And that's why the impact, it says growth with impact, needs to be seen as a positive. Yeah? And the impact is not only making more money, but it's also bringing some better quality of life. It brings also a better sharing of things, maybe lessening the gap between the haves and the have-nots, etc., etc. This is something that I think all of us have to always keep in mind, that growing is, yes, not always at all costs, but you have to always see what the costs are, and some of the costs are not only financial. Yeah. Coming back to the original, which is basically leading with innovation and growing with impact. In the short talk that was given by Pak Rohit, there was a lot of emphasis on digital technology, digital culture, digital products, yeah? Which is, I think, if most people think about technology these days, about technology, then in most people's mind is digital technology, although that's not true. But it is something which has an all-encompassing, a very 360-degree impact on everything, because it's not only a technology that we can use but it's also a technology that enables us to do other things, like innovation, right? So innovation today, if you look at using digital technology, of course, there was another keyword mentioned many times is AI, right? AI is something that can be used in order to innovate a lot. I mean, we as users of AI, of course, we have to come up with smart ideas ourselves and use the AI in a way that we come to results that are truly solving problems that have basically not yet have been solved. Yeah. And innovation, in fact, and many people should always remind themselves, is not only something new, but it's something that solves a problem, something that is really needed. Yeah? Some things are just an invention. Yeah? It's new, but it's not doing anything, right? It's just new. But in order to solve a problem that has not been solved before, in order to bring a new product or service that has been maybe needed, but people didn't even know about it, has been needed, to bridge a gap, you need innovation, yeah, sometimes, or mostly. And AI, in that regard, provides you with a tool where you can use a lot of data that maybe before, if I think like when I was the director of marketing 30 years back, then if you want to have data, you have to do research using basically books, magazines, and newspaper clips in order to get the news information. We were not even at the time of Google yet those days. Yeah? But to get that information is now at the tip of your fingers. Right? It's so easy, but still, you have to really work through it. It doesn't really solve your problem immediately. It just gives you a lot of very good information. Sometimes also to be re-evaluated, of course. We know that the AI is not perfect. In the AI world, we know there is a phenomenon called hallucination, meaning to say it looks perfect from the outside, but if you look into the detail, it's actually a lot of wrong things in the result of the AI research. And also AI provides a very good tool, not only to give you good data, but also to give you bad data. I mean, AI can be used positively, but also negatively. There's a lot of fraud using AI, a lot of videos that have been generated using AI that looks like they're being real, but it's a fake, right? Deep fake or fake news. It's also a product of AI in many cases, right? And so AI is not necessarily the only, it doesn't only have positive sides. It has also negative sides. But one thing for sure, also we are so bullish about AI and digital technology, but I give you an impact, a view on how we should look at it as well. Let's say you want to get some information from AI. You have to imagine you send your prompt to the AI system, and it gives you an answer. The energy needed to give you an answer is about the same like boiling half a glass of water, as a regular water glass. Yeah? Maybe one third to half boiling. That's the same energy. Now imagine there's many millions of people that want to use AI at the same time. Some just for fun. They don't even have a purpose. How much energy is needed in order to just come to a result? So the impact is not all positive, right? I mean, you get a better result, but at what cost? The energy, right? Energy creates problems. We have, at the moment, an energy crisis. The production of energy is by far not all with renewable means. Yeah? There's always the dream of the so-called green data center, but I know that even a country like Singapore, they want to invest into data centers. They accept data centers that buy the green as a certificate. They don't get the energy from renewable sources, right? Because it's not available, right? In most countries like Indonesia, how much percent renewable energy we have? 10, 15, maybe at most. So we want to build a lot of data centers. This is a good business to be in at the moment. And without data centers, of course, you don't have AI, basically, right? Because the data needs to be somewhere, and it needs to be retrieved whenever you need the data for your AI. But it comes at a cost. So basically, it needs to be used in a smart way. I'm not saying we should not use it, but we should not overuse it to the degree that everything we need is always, without thinking, use it immediately, right? And trust. This is something that I remember when I was still working at this state-owned company that I always told my team, hey, you don't You use the computer, fine, but don't trust everything. It's a black box, and sometimes the model that you're using in this black box is simply wrong. The assumptions are not always correct. So it is always good to understand what you want to innovate for. There is something like I call it common sense. You have to see, does it really make sense? Before you even start, you have to know what kind of result you should expect before you even start using the machine. So once you have a result, you can relate to what the machine tells you. Does it make sense or not? But many of us use it to the degree that you blindly trust. I think that's something we should be very careful about. So innovation, using digital technology, there is this temptation that we use it to the degree that we blindly trust it. But I think that's something we should be aware about. Now, coming back again to this phrase, leading with innovation. So what does it take to be a leader, actually? Why? I mean, I remember in your presentation, Pak Rohit, you said that 80% of the executives are bullish about AI, but only 49 are of the people, the users. I don't know whether you mean all Indonesians or just the ones that are in a position to use AI. But basically, it's a minority for sure that are, bullish about AI. And I think if you are a leader and you have to lead people that are to a certain degree skeptical about what you want to lead about, which is the use of AI, then of course there is skepticism amongst many people about AI for a good reason, because we know that also AI is not only coming with a lot of fraud, actually. It enables people that want to do bad things even more because they can make something which looks very real but is completely a fake. But also AI, for many of us, is a threat to our own job, right? So, I mean, the new world where we use digital technology will have much less people working for companies achieving a similar thing. I remember there were startups in the US that had a revenue that was so big that they stated themselves, without AI, they needed maybe 10 times the amount of employee. So basically, there's many professions that use those technologies, but they make the people that use those technologies more and more superfluous. You don't need them anymore in that amount. So I think we're at the point where the technology that we're using has the capacity and capability to completely disrupt not only a product or an industry, but even the future world of how to work and how should we define work, and basically what do we need to have as a professional in order to be still competitive, let's say in 10 years. People talk about digital literacy, about technology literacy, but that very literacy can also basically be a threat to all of us. And I think that is one of the reasons why so many people are still skeptical about this. So what do we have to do as leaders? Well, first of all, I believe always in what I call authentic leadership. Meaning to say, if you are a leader, you want to lead about something that is highly contestable. People are not sure about this. You have to really know your stuff, right? You have to be not only a user, but you have to be in a position to argue about something convincingly to the people that you lead. We know that AI actually does have a challenge to many of the job professions, but it also eliminates jobs that are otherwise repetitive, little value add, even dangerous sometimes, And I think those kind of jobs, I mean, if you look at the history of mankind, technology did always that. I mean, many jobs that were there many years ago, but with the advent of technology, they become like superfluous because they were replaced by a machine. To give an example, 500 years ago, before the advent of the book print, people that want to buy a book, they had to go to a person who would copy the book by writing. This profession has disappeared because there was a print machine. Now, the print machine is probably also or the printing itself is endangered because many things are not available in print alone, but they have a digital twin, which is basically an e-book or an online product where you can read, and you don't need really to buy a book or a magazine anymore, right? So at some point in time, I think even the print will be maybe confined to only the ones that really, like me, that are used to this, or people that do it for, I don't know, to have a different lifestyle. And so it's a different thing. So leading with innovation, one thing that I like to comment here, it means you have to be an authentic leader. You have to know your stuff. You have to use it yourself. You can convince many that are skeptical about this. Right? And if you lead and you want to grow with purpose, you have to convince today's generation, I think, about the reason for growth. It cannot be merely financial. There needs to be an impact, in many cases social or environmental. As I explained before, we use AI. Just imagine we use AI many, many more times than today. Can we really do this in a sustainable way? Can we really generate the energy, the massive energy for that, in a way that does not create a danger to our world? Because you see, at the same time, the climate has a problem with this. Yeah? I mean, I just came back from Europe a few days ago, and Europe is hotter than Jakarta, right? And this wasn't there when I used to live in Europe for many years ago. We didn't have that in Europe before, not like this. And people say, oh, it's not related to climate crisis. I'm not so sure. People say, some climate skeptical people, they say, this is just a phase, there's a cycle. The Earth sometimes has these heat cycles. But there's a lot of science that has gone into this. And there are very serious studies with very believable, credible results that really can demonstrate to you there is a relationship between the increasing amount of CO2 in the atmosphere and the heating up and the climate crisis. Yeah. So, as I said, this technology that I was talking about, AI and others, uses energy. And energy has a big impact. Another impact we should be aware about is the user distribution. I was talking with Rohit about the impact of digital technology on our life. There's two things we discussed. One was the fintech, basically providing financial service to the, let's say, bank, the unbanked. Yes, that's one. But the other one is education, right? So education provided through online means can change the lives of many. However, we have to also remind ourselves that if you want to have an online education, first you need a connection. Then that connection needs to be stable and performance needs to be good, and it costs some money. And I think we all know that the income distribution in all countries is not the same. And in Indonesia, we don't provide digital connectivity at zero cost to all our Indonesians, right? So some can use it profusely, a lot, yeah? Some don't have access because they don't have the money or they don't live in an area where you have good connectivity. And so basically, this kind of technology can actually widen the gap between the people that are educated or not, because the ones that can use it, they have the means to use it, they can accelerate their development in life. They become even better educated. But the ones they can't, they just stay where they are. So you can imagine the gap becomes even wider. So these are all the dangers. I'm not trying to say this is bad, but we should be aware about the impact it can have on whole societies and nations, right? So, nevertheless, I'm by nature an optimist. So I think, and I'm a technology guy, I'm an engineer, as already said by the MC. So for me, technology is always there in order to improve people's life. We should never run away from this. There are whole societies who become technology skeptic. They actually want to go back to the old days without technology. I don't believe that. Yeah? I think technology has improved humans' life immensely. I mean, just look at the life expectation. Without technology, people were dying at 40, 50 years old. Now, because of technology, because of medical development, biochemistry, and pharmaceutical development, the treatment in the hospital, this is non-digital technology. We have a longer life, right? We can live healthy until 70, 80 years without any problem. In the future, it will be even better, I think. So technology, there's a lot of benefit, of course, for most of us, but there's also dangers. And I think this is exactly how we should lead. We should be, first of all, authentic. We should know our stuff convincingly. We should be, at the same time, be aware about the risk. Yeah? So we can also address those risks that come with the innovation. And the purpose of us being business leaders is always growing our company. Growing doesn't mean always financial growth. It sometimes means also growing in terms of providing a better quality, improving people's life, and basically making this life for all of us on this planet a better one. I think that's all I have to say. I have actually a list of questions, but I think there's no time that I can use now because time is up. But anything, it has been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for your kind attention, and I look forward to hopefully next time.